Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Yeah. Jesus.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Rhonda. Let's give me up.
See, you're telling me this. You've got a face for radio.
I've got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Martial arts chat.
Hello and welcome to the Martial Arts Chat podcast. On this episode we are covering the UFC Glasgow card, which takes place this Sunday. We've had the round table with the finest in Scottish MMA media giving us their opinions. Now let's talk with the fighters. And first up on the show is the main event himself, none other than Gunnar Nelson. We're continuing with our coverage and build of UFC Glasgow. That takes place Sunday the 16th of July. I'm pleased to say we are joined by this time by the headliner in Glasgow that night, Iceland's own Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And UFC Glasgow is just round the corner now. The first and most obvious probably question is, how's training and weight cut been ahead of your fight against Santiago?
Yeah, training's been going well. This camp was excellent. You know, the whole camp was in Iceland. Brought some good guys over here to train with me. Luca from Dublin has been here, Peter Quealy, and Matt Miller from Canada, and Abner, which you might know him from the Ultimate Fighter.
I've heard that weight cutting isn't really an issue for you. Well, isn't a drastic weight cut for 170. You know, it seems to be that's something, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's something that's comfortable for you. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm walking around like 80 kilos now. Uh-huh. So it's about 3 kilos from now, and I'm eating well, eating whatever I feel like, really. And this is just my kind of walking weight. So I might be the only welterweight, you know. That
sounds about as comfortable as you can get. But I'm just curious your thoughts on like weight cutting in today's MMA. You know, particularly with UFC, you have no IVs now. What's your thoughts on guys that do a drastic cut and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think they should try to get rid of it, because I think it's ridiculous, to be honest. You know, a lot of them guys, almost everybody cuts a huge amount of weight, and they walk around at the similar weight, and then they cut down whatever 10, 15 kilos even, and then they back on, and then they meet. I'm sure these guys would like to just skip all that and just meet, instead of going through all that. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's gone too far, and I think nobody likes it. Besides, it's shown, a good few times that it's not good for your health, and it can really mess up fighters and take fighters away from fighting for a while. It's done that in the past, and it will continue doing that. People are cutting more and more weight, and to be the bigger guy, I just, they need to get that sorted. That's my opinion.
Well said, sir. And so to Santiago then, the Argentine is experienced, for 30 years old. He's on a 4-fight win streak and obviously has a strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game. But what threats do you think he possesses going into this fight, Gunnar, and how do you anticipate it going down?
I think to be honest, he's going to try to keep the fight on the feet. It looks to me, I know he's well-rounded and he's supposedly very good on the ground, but from what I've seen, he looks to favor, striking and standing and throwing his hands, Mm-hmm. So I presume that would be his game plan, but, I'll take it by ear and see when we get there,
Sounds good. And in terms of the welterweight division, it's been announced that Damian Maia will take on defending champion Tyron Woodley later this year. A fight, no doubt, that you'll have your eye on. Do you have a prediction for that fight, Gunnar?
I think I'm rooting for Maia anyway. I always liked him, I like the style. I think he's deserved a title shot for a while. He's a very, crafty kind of. He's got his own style, He's kind of old school in a way, but he makes it work really well. Mm-hmm. So I think Maia can can get him. Tyron is good. Don't get me wrong. He's very, very crafty. And he's got pretty good wrestling, but I think he's short, and Maia's single leg might be a problem for him. So I definitely think Maia's going to get it.
Damian Maia is obviously a guy that you're familiar with your fight back in the end of 2015. We saw Maia, control that grappling exchange, and he's done the same with so many other fighters too. But I like that you're saying you're favouring Maia in that one. Hypothetically, if somewhere down the line you did get a rematch with him, or if it was for the title, is there anything you would do differently, Gunnar, given that opportunity against Maia again?
Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't do anything again, obviously. So the fight will be very different the next time around, and I hope it does come to that. I would like to challenge him if he be the champion, but I'm afraid I might not get the chance. I feel like he might retire. Because he's pretty old and he's had a long career, but we'll see. If I get the chance to fight him, challenge him for that title, that would be awesome. That would be a dream.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see that too. So George St. Pierre, obviously a legend in UFC realm. I think we're still a bit unclear on what his plans are in terms of a comeback, but it's rumoured to be involved in a title fight, whether it's middleweight or welterweight. Would you hear something like that? A guy who's, GSP's been away from the sport for so long, and there's a chance he could essentially skip yourself in the queue for a title. How does that make you feel, and your thoughts on that sort of that big name return?
I don't know. I'm not really fussed. They do whatever they want to do. I don't really care too much. I think he'd be more interested in these super fights, fighting big names like Conor. Obviously, he's been trying to get a fight with Bisping, and I think he's interested in a couple of super fights, get some good money, and I don't think he's. Yeah, I understand that it would be a problem. It's unfair for him to come back and go for the title, but then again, he is a big star, and he was a champion for a long time, and I understand it, so they'll do what they do, I don't mind it.
Fair enough, sir. Well, Gunnar, absolute pleasure to get your time on Martial Arts Chat. We can't wait to see you perform in Glasgow, and we've got a sold-out crowd here in Scotland. I've just got one last question, sir, before I let you go. Have you got a message for our fans come fight night?
Well, I look forward to come and fight for you guys. I've never been to Scotland. I've been in the airport, but that's about it. And I feel like there's some connections there. I feel like that there's a very similar, if not the same, blood running through our veins. And I think it's gonna be a loud and powerful night. I can't wait, to be honest.
Yeah, excellent. We can't wait to. Gunnar Nelson, a pleasure for giving us your time on Martial Arts Chat. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks very much. See you.
Thanks to Gunnar for his time on the show, and good luck come Sunday. And so off to higher level we go and speak with Stevie Ray and head coach James Doolan as they get set to take on Paul Felder in this lightweight fight. Hello, welcome to Martial Arts Chat Podcast, and we continue with our coverage and build of UFC Glasgow. It takes place at the SSE Hydro on Sunday the 16th of July, and I'm pleased to say at this time I'm joined by Team Higher Level. We've got head coach James Doolan, and a man will be taking on Paul Felder that night inside the cage, Stevie effing Ray. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Good, mate. Yeah, all good.
First and most obvious question out of the way is how's training and the camp been and the lead up to this fight?
Training's been going good. Everything's basically coming in place. I'm getting sharper every week. The weight's coming down nicely. And luckily enough, touch wood, I've not got any kind of niggles or injuries or stuff. So 19 days to go. I'm good to go, man.
It sounds good, mate. It sounds good. And Stevie, you've had some real solid contests against established names recently. You're a guy, obviously, we all know here in Scotland for your heart and your athleticism. But what can fans expect for this fight against Felder? I
think fans can just expect a action-packed fight. A lot of people can see this being fight tonight. Felder's predominantly a striker. He likes to come and bang. He throws leather. I like to do that too. Yeah. Just basically an action-packed fight back and forth preparing for 3-round war. Obviously, I'll be looking to get the stoppage, but I'm prepared for it to go all 3 rounds and grind out the win.
Definitely. And James, just when you sort of heard about this fight, when the name Felder was mentioned, how did it all go down? Was it a fight you knew you wanted right away for yourself and Stevie?
I think we hung out with Paul Felder in Brazil when we were there, and with a couple of guys in the division, I've always known that we're going to end up fighting eventually. So Paul was one of them. Luckily, he's one of the fighters that I kind of like to watch and stuff, and stylistically he's fun to watch. So I think he's just another good name after the Pearson and the Lozon fight. So he's like been high up in the cards. He's had some big fights with Barboza and stuff. So it's an exciting challenge for us.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you guys, in terms of the UFC rankings, I don't know if you guys pay much attention to that. It's always a talking point for us in the media, but I mean, we sort of speculated, us guys in the Scottish media, after your fight with Joe Lozon, we were hopeful, maybe speculating than anything else, that you would get like top 15, top 10. Now, I'm not asking you guys to look ahead of Felder, but just hypothetically, if you get that W, is breaking into the top 10, is that something that both yourself, James, and Stevie, that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably worked out better as well. I mean, I'm not underestimating Felder in any way. The lightweight roster in the UFC's, it's the most busiest, and I've went 5-1 in the UFC, and I'm still not even ranked, and that just shows you how stacked the division is. But obviously I'm looking to get past Felder. I'm then due to renegotiate, or I'm then due to get a new contract. So get past Felder and then crack into the top 15 and beyond. Some obviously negotiate a deal at that point as well, because obviously if I'm fighting top 15 guys, I want to be getting paid the right amount of money for it as well. So
yes, absolutely, mate. And I didn't realise that. So this fight against Felder, that's your last fight on your most recent contract, then, is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
So we'll be looking onwards and upwards, and certainly you got all the motivation, mate, and fingers crossed that it all works out for you. Now I've got to get this one out of the way, guys. Scottish Hit Squad's a gym I hold close to my heart. I'm there almost every morning for my jiu-jitsu, and a big dog down our gym is Paul Berdew Craig. You guys went at it on Twitter, so to speak, and I'm sure those listening watched that BBC interview. So what is the story? Is it a beef, or is it just banter between yourself, or what's your thoughts, Stevie?
Well, I think Paul sees it as a bit more banter. I took it a bit more personal because he kind of spoke about my family and stuff. So he brought my kids and my partner into it. So I took it personal. He'll see it more as a banter because I didn't bring his family and stuff into it. So I mean, he's just a guy that I didn't like. He was trying to kind of have a laugh, and behind the scenes he was saying, "Oh, it's all banter, it's all a laugh, Stevie. I hope he does well, blah blah blah." But it's because he knows he was a dick in the past, and he maybe said some stuff that he regrets. I don't know. But that all being said, he's a fighter that's nowhere near my weight class. I don't train with him. I maybe need to share a cards with him every now and again. So he's just somebody I'm not really just looking to forget about him. As long as he's not giving me any more shit, then then I'm no fussed about him.
Well said, mate. I think we can all agree, UFC being in Glasgow, that's something special in itself, and getting a chance to cheer our Scottish boys like we did 2 years ago, that's even more special. I'll be sure to have my biased commentary on for you guys and girls. But just before I wrap things up here, guys, and again I want to extend my thanks to both of you for your time, but the SSE Hydro Glasgow, big show obviously, but arguably not as big a card as last time. That's kind of our speculation in the media. I was curious your guys' thoughts on that. Would you have liked to have seen some bigger, maybe more established names from overseas come here, or does that even come into your thoughts, I guess?
I think sometimes those cards produce a bit more. Like some of the guys that you're not as aware of, sometimes they've got more to prove. So when you bring them in, sometimes the fights are a bit hungrier. Mm-hmm. And some of the more established guys, I think the card's not as strong as the first one. Obviously, Bisping headlined the last one to become middleweight champion. This one, there's some good fights on this one. It depends. I think the casual fan probably thinks the card's not as good, but like genuine kind of MMA fans are going to go and watch. They could sell the Hydro out with any card. They could sell the Hydro out with no Scottish fighters on it.
It's true, yeah.
They could probably sell it with 8 fights, but